Hello, everybody, and welcome to a day that a lot of you have been waiting for. As Southag DLC finally is out for Wano, with the two army generals now being added to it, and that making the whole thing complete so that they can launch it as the full product on its own. And now everybody can buy it and play it on their own. And we will have a look in the army generals here now. We will have a short look into the rest of the DLC as well for everybody who is just coming around to it now. There are a lot of content in this DLC. It's basically half of the base game once more added on top, or even a bit more than that. But let's have a look here into the two army generals and let's talk a bit about those two. And in the first campaign, you, as NATO, have to push through on 3 fronts, and as Pact, you have to hold these. It's purely Czechoslovak versus German, so West Germans here with pretty different formations though. So the variety within the nations is pretty big in the first one. You have the first Luftlander here in the center. You have a Panzer division in the south, and then the Canadians come in later. So that comes in as a variety there, so that you have two factions: the Canadians coming in with their full first Canadian division, and then in the north a Panzer Grenadier division versus motorized and tank divisions on the side of the Czechoslovaks as well. I like the base idea of this. I still think Fusion should do a lot more to increase replayability of these campaigns, because you are still set up with the same setup every time you start this campaign. And because you are under time pressure here, which makes sense that there is time pressure to get to these points, but that means you can't do something like moving these guys south here because you just don't have the time for that. So units up north have to move somewhere around Chep. The units in the center have to move somewhere around Bor. And the units in the south here have to go to the southern point here at Domatslice. And then as the Czechoslovaks, you will be a bit more varied. We will have a look there in a second. But that is basically the base idea here. There have been some improvements to the AI's behavior on the campaign maps. There have been some improvements to the battles. There are new maps that you can get in the fights and so on as well. So the improvements keep on coming to the base concept. And there are cool choices within these two campaigns as well. But there aren't as many, and they aren't as good as I would hope them to be. I really hope Eugen takes the time now that they will have until the next DLC, big DLC, which we don't know anything about yet, and improve on Army General's good basics, because I think this is the game mode where they still can improve the most, the easiest. I think the base gameplay loop is pretty good, and multiplayer is in a good spot. And I believe this is also pretty good. I like the campaigns. I believe they could be great with just a bit extra work. So looking forward to see what Eugen maybe can do there. But currently, this is a good campaign. I think the other one is a lot better, because the time pressure here is really real. So you kind of just push along the axis. But the fights you get are pretty cool. And I think the Czechoslovaks are counterintuitively the ones that actually can vary here, because they can actually move their units a bit more around and choose which point to defend, whilst the Germans just have to go for the push through. So let's have a look on the other side. So with the Czechoslovaks, you can, for example, decide to retreat further back here and maybe pull some of these forces towards Bor. You have a lot of mobile reinforcements here in the back, which you either can push south with or towards Bor, and make the life tough there for the opponents. You have a lot of full air assets on both sides in this campaign, I would say, as well. And the air wings are in a pretty decent mix as well. So it's, yeah, you still have pure fighter wings like this, which I think some of the mods do a lot better, where you have mixed wings, which you really should give a look as well, and make it more of a strike package each time you choose them, outside of maybe stuff like the Su-25, where, yeah, that's close air support, but like have MiG-21, always have MiG-21 bombers with the MiG-21 fighters and stuff like that around. They have a couple pure fighter regiments where it really makes sense. And yep, this is the campaign map here. A pretty solid one. I don't think it's the best Army General campaign, but I think it's one of the better ones. As I said, you have cool fights. It's just a bit one-dimensional with the movement on here, especially from the NATO side, as they just have to rush in there. Whilst, as I said, Pact is actually the more interesting one to play in this one, I believe. So let's move on to the second one. And in the second campaign, you have more mobility with both sides because the map is bigger. And what I like about it, it's not completely filled with units. Like on most of the campaigns, especially on the Norfolk ones, there was little room for maneuver because the map was just filled with units. Here, it's more maneuver warfare, which also feels good with the lighter forces. The engagements in this campaign are also pretty unique with the Spanish and French, and then a couple of heavy German forces versus Czechoslovak and a couple of Soviet units here coming around. The choices in this one also are pretty nice, and yeah, this whole area here, the pact side can choose how to move through it. You can also choose a bit how to advance if you want to go the northern road, if you want to go the southern road, or maybe go around here completely. Like there are more choices in this one, and also how you want to defend these. If you maybe want to combine these two, try to only hold one spot, or if you just want to hunker down for as long as possible as one, like this, for example, you could just kind of give up and retreat to the second one, so that you maybe hold out here long enough for the reinforcements to arrive and stuff like this. So I think the choices here on the campaign maps are cool. I think the unit formations on both sides here are pretty versatile and unique as well, with some special forces here around. And then the other side, just some milites forces, the 11th Para here with interesting paratrooper units, and then the AMX-10 fleet here coming along. So this is for sure a really, really cool campaign. One of my favorites when it comes to playing. Really looking forward to playing this one in multiplayer. And yeah, the variation of nations here pretty cool as well. Not having all that much Soviet Union and not having any US in this is really cool as well, as those dominated the, especially base game, but also some degree the other DLC, the Norfolk Army General campaigns. So this is pretty dope. And yep, I think it's a good one. I hope Eugen improves more on the mod, because Army General has a lot of improvements that it can get to make it really great. And I think some of the mods we already talked about before do it already a good bit better. So looking forward to see this one in the enhanced Army General mod. And yeah, in general, I think this DLC is worth it. Let's have a look on the other parts in it for everybody who missed it. We have direct videos about the operations and especially about every division already out. If you want to see those and get more information, so you can find single videos. So we will just do this in a quick run through. Yeah, on the pact side, you have a maneuver group up here. You have forces that you can maneuver with here and either decide to fight, but you're stressed out, so might be wise to pull back so that you don't get overwhelmed. These guys over here you can maybe try to fight as well, or regroup over here. You have good mix of air wings as well. Your forces next to the enemy formations are a bit stronger, so you should be able to overwhelm them if you can hold up the other forces from coming in. And the reinforcements you get with the tanks are bringing interesting stuff in as well. 15th Guards tank division here coming along with some more T-72s. So T-72 is the main part of the game here for the two army generals. Yep, it's a fun one. When it comes to the operations, you get 4 more ones. One with the West Germans, one with the French, one with the Canadians, and one with the Czechoslovaks. All 4 of them are pretty good. I believe the West German ones is the best one, as it also has some cool choices in it, where you actually get choices within the mission, what units you want to have as reinforcements. And it's also a bit of a different concept. The others are all a bit of a variety of the base gameplay loop and this one really has you playing as a recon formation in front of the AI, and you have to scout them out and help them out with artillery and recon and airstrikes whilst they bring the base forces. And this is a really unique one compared to the others. I still don't think any one of them comes close to Survivors, which is the best mission so far. And yeah, this one is really, really cool. But Secret's Wrath, Delayed Retribution, Story or Attrition, and the Hydra, all good operations, better than the base game ones. I think Norfolk one already were a nice step up. And on average, I think they are as good as the Norfolk ones, as I believe they're better than running the Gauntlet and the Winged Hussars one. But the Survivors one, still the best of the operations here so far. And then the divisions, I think they are a pretty nice mix as well. You get 3 fully new nations, the Canadians, the Spanish, which is really cool to have the Spanish in a game. I don't think I've ever seen the Spanish in any Cold War game, and even World War II game, because they weren't involved in World War II directly. So this is a really cool addition, nation that you don't see often in war games. And then the Czechoslovaks on the other side with 3 divisions showing up, which are a cool mix as well of the motorized and a heavy tank, and then the reserve tank division, which is a new cool feature as well. So I think the variety in Southag is pretty good as well. I like it a bit more on NATO side than on Pact side, because it's a lot of T-72s on Pact side, so that makes sense as well, bringing the 72 number on Pact on average now where it should be. The 31st and 17th Tankovis are both pretty cool new Soviet divisions as well, with some unique units. B-Man, for example, on the 31st is quite nice, and the 17th with its reserve T10s and so on, a quite unique division as well. So I think when it comes to uniqueness and new units, Eugen has done really well with Southag. It's not just rehashing old models. Division Durine is having a good amount of new units, like the MX-13 with the ATGMs as well, Six Day with the Legionnaires. Yes, sure, it's mostly around AMX-10s, but the way it is built around that is pretty cool as well. Not the most amount of new models, but still a couple there as well, like the auto-fire, auto-loaded boat gun and so on. And then First Luftlande, the missing link in the German roster, having an infantry division that is not reservist next to the Panzergrenadier and the Panzer division. So this fills out the roster nicely for the Germans as well, and the Canadians obviously have a lot of unique models as well. So I believe Southag is worth it if you want more Vono, and I'm pretty excited to test out the Army General in multiplayer. We'll have a look into that. And yeah, it's nice that everybody now can play with the other divisions as well. If you aren't sure about it and you're newer to Vono, continue playing on with the base game divisions, and then if you feel like you want it, get it. There's no need to buy DLCs in Vono. The divisions are not super OP, and there is no features in there that you have to unlock, like maps or anything that are locked behind the DLC for multiplayer or so. So just go with the base game until you feel like you need more stuff, then buy the DLCs. And yeah, with that said, guys, thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Have fun with Southag. I will do for sure. And bye-bye. Have a great day.